OK，跟你说一下这个 assignment。首先呢，这个是上周的 assignment，tasks 1, 2 and 3，1, 2 and 3。然后呢，这边呢是我新写的。然后呢，you know, you should say something like first I import the random library and I create a function for task 1 from last week, and it's called converted task 1, and I give x and y as a passing value, and I do the check for x and y. If it's larger than 5, if x or y is larger than 5, I will throw an arrow, and I will return the function to stop the function, and I'll create the list which will hold my nest list, my entire my result, and I go through go a for loop for x times, and I create a temp list, which is the inner list, to hold the inner list, and I go to another for loop inside this for loop to go y times, and for each time I will have the sublist insert 0. So after each y times reached, I will add the smallest into the large list and reset the smallest to empty. And at last, after the two for loop done, I will have print my x value, my value, and I print my result list. So here will be the test result. Test function. Test function. I'll test it 10 times. I will write a for loop here. So I'm trying to test it 10 times. So for each time, I will generate a random integer from 1 to 6 for x and 1 to 6 for y, because I need to test the error case if it's larger than 5. And I call the converted task 1 and given the x and y value, so it will run here and the result will be here. So if x is equal to 3, y equal to 3, we'll have a list which inside have 3 small lists, and for each list we'll have 3 value, which is 0. And if it's 2 and 4, we'll have 2 lists, which each list inside will have 4 value, 4 zeros. And if we have a value larger than 5, y equal to 6, we'll have a error message, and there will be no list generated. And okay, here will be the 10 test result. And the second task, same thing. I import random library. I create a function called converted task 2 and give an x and y value. And same here, we check x and y value. If it's larger than 5, print the error message and return and stop the program. And if it's not, then I'll create a result list. I'll create an empty list, which will hold all the results, and we'll go for a loop for x time and create a small temp list, and go for inside this for loop we'll have another for loop to go y times, and for this time we'll have something different, as the task 2 request. Like if x mod y is equal to 0, then we'll fill the index with we'll fill in that index with 1, otherwise with 0. So here we'll check for this index, because the list index is start with 0, 0, so we'll have add 1 to make sure it's correct. So we will check for x, which is current x, mod current y. If it's equal to 0, we'll give it 1, otherwise we'll give it 0. And after the photo for y, we'll have small temp list. I'll add it to the large list, and we'll do the we'll do it again for until we finish the x loop. And after we create the list, the complete list, we'll print x value, y value, and the list. And here will be the test case, 10 test case for the task 2. We'll generate 10 times. For each time we'll generate random x from between 1 to 6, random y between 1 to 6, and we'll call the converted task 2 and give x1 y. So if x or y is larger than 5, we'll give error message and return no list. And if it's not, so 2 and 4, 2 and 4, we have two lists, which we for each inside we have four values, and each one for the zero zeros, which is mode so for mode 00 that will be 1 because it's a special case here, and yeah, so we will have we'll have all the values. You'll just say okay, we'll have the value with different 0 and 1s. That's it. And the third task, a little bit different. We'll traverse over this list, and if I find 1, print index of that list. So basically we'll go through the list and find ones and print the index of it. So here I'll have I import the random library. I create a function called convert to task 3 and give x and y. I do the same check, x and y larger than 5, arrow, and create an empty list. And this part this function is identical as task 2 because we need to create a list first, create a 1 and 0 list first. So everything is same as task 2. I'll have a 1 and 0 list depends on x mod y. And here will be a second function which is really find the index of ones. So which is called find ones, and have a variable giving the variable like list, which is actual list. We'll go through the list. We will, for this loop, we'll get the index from the first layer, and the second one will go to the second layer. And we get each one if the list item is equal to the value of the list is equal to 1, we'll print the index, and we'll go next, and we'll go until we find the 1, we'll print the index, and that's how we do it. So here will be the test case. So for so 10 times create random x, random y, and we call the convert task 3 given x, y, and we get the list. We get the list we get the nested list which contains 1 and 0s, and we find ones inside that list, and here will be the result. So here we can see if there's x and y larger than 5, we'll get arrow, and if we have a regular list, we'll print each one, and here will be 0 0, here will be 1 0, 1 1, 2 0, and 2 2, and that's all the position for value, the of value for ones. And the last one will be this to calculate surface area for a sphere, and same thing, import random library, and we need to import mass library here, so we can use pi. We can use the number pi, not number pi. We can use pi, and we'll create a function called sa-sp, which means surface area of sphere, and we take in a variable called r, which means radius. I'll return the surface area of this given sphere, which is 4 times pi times r and times r, which is r squared. And we'll create a test case for it 10 times. And for the radius, we generate random integer from 1 to 10, and we print the surface area of this sphere with given given radius. And here I call the function, and this will return me a float number for the surface area. And yeah, here I call the function here sa-low-sp, and given r, and it will return me the surface area, and I will do the round it to 2 digit, and switch it to string so that you can fit here, because yeah, it's easier to do that. Okay, that's it.